LoreWarrior Online, JN-G8A, Jinggau. Overview. Toward the end of 3058, word of Blake's Toyama faction began providing Capellan Chancellor Suen-Su Lao with technicians and material resources to help finish overhauling the old Star League production facility on Victoria. The assistance, apparently part of a personal debt owed to the Chancellor, increased production of the Duangung Battlemech design and helped the Capellans to quickly finish work on the Jinggau assembly line. The first Jinggau, which means siren, reportedly came off the line in early 3059, though for undisclosed reasons production was halted for more than a year, and then resumed in limited number. Engineers studying the Jinggau are curious about its extended-range medium lasers which are produced in the Free Worlds League. As with the Duangung, all parts of the Jinggau, except for its jump jets and targeting system, are intended to be built on Victoria. Capabilities. The Jinggau is designed to wade into the middle of combat rather than skulking around the edges or hoping for a few lucky long-range hits. Its top-end mobility for its weight with a run speed of over 85 kph and 150 meter jump capability allow it to close fairly rapidly in pretty much any terrain. For crossing open areas or engaging in stand-up battles, more than 11 ton of armour give the Jinggau excellent odds of survival. Presenting a lance of Jinggau to the 4th Tau Ceti Rangers, Suen-Su Lao said, "This is not a mech relegated to support roles or reconnaissance or garrison duty. This is a battle mech for seeking out your opponent and doing him harm. This is a mech with which to make your enemy miserable." That misery comes primarily from the new Jitongyao or Painkiller Gauss rifle. The rifle, which can worry the pilot of even an assault mech, delivers hard blows until the Jinggau closes to the range of its diverse optics lasers. At that point, the lasers seek the weakened spots to eviscerate an enemy machine, while the Gauss rifle continues to deliver its knockdown firepower punches. Carrying 16 rounds of ammo, in the hands of an experienced warrior, the Jinggau can expect to match up against 3 other battlemechs before requiring reload. Deployment. Chancellor Lao presented the 4th Tau Ceti Rangers with one of the first Jinggau Lancers. On the day that they accepted his offer to become a regular House Lao regiment, other Jinggaus have been seen in the Daidachi and Komata warrior houses, and the Chancellor's Death Commandos will likely field these as well. Even as the Jinggau has made its debut, however, rumours regarding the Zhongli Arms facility continued to spread, especially with regard to this design. Some stories circulate of off-limits areas and portions of the Jinggau assembly line that are shut down and under guard. Post-production analysis of the mech bears out some of the rumours, in that both arms sections have obviously been redesigned. This could account for the delays in reaching full production, but begs the question of why the CCAF apparently fielded a variant ahead of the primary design. Nice bit of story about this one. Mass 65 ton, chassis is the Chariot Type 2 Endo Steel, power plant is a 325 Vox XL, its cruise speed is 54 kph and its max speed is 86 kph, with jump jets being the Hellspawn Leapers, giving it 150 meters. Armour, Valiant Defco. Its armament is a single Jitongyao Gauss rifle, 4 diverse optics extended range medium lasers and 1 Raker 4 medium pulse laser. Its manufacturer is Zhongli Arms, primary factory on Victoria. Its communication system is the Dianbao Comms, heavy insulated, and its targeting and tracking is the Dynatech Special TNT. It's a spud. Aside of the fact that somebody who had designed this definitely had been looking at books of the Dornier 217 bombers, or just any of the Dornier brand of German World War II bomber, the cockpit is extremely reminiscent of that. It's fucking weird. Very distinct, though, I'll give it that. It's like a Night Star on crack. It's walk of 5, run of 8, and a jump of 5 with 13 double heatsinks for 26 dissipation. Has 9 armour on that carapace of a head, with 28 CT, 9 on the rear, 24 on the right and left torso with 6 on the rear, 17 on the arms, and 22 on the legs. It has the Gauss rifle mounted in the right arm with 16 shots with ammo in the right torso, a medium pulse laser in the right arm as well, which is that massive, mahungus cannon underneath the Gauss rifle. It has 4 ER medium lasers all in the left arm, with its jump jets being split between the right and left leg and the single in the CT. Yeah, this is another one of those designs where proportion definitely needed to be thought of before commissioning the art. The Gauss rifle looks like it's big enough that it's like a fucking orbital cannon. The thing is gigantic. Again, we're talking about a piece of equipment that's supposed to fire a slug at hypersonic speed, right? So I understand the assembly being big, but the actual shell itself, the slug, doesn't need to be the size of a fucking mountain. It's gigantic. It just needs to be a lump of metal that's fired at a ridiculous speed. At that point, it doesn't matter how big the slug is. You could fire something as small as in this case, a small family car, and it would still punch through a Battlemech, no problem. The medium pulse laser beneath is so fucking big. How big is the beam that this thing fires? And then the left arm, with 4 extended range mediums, they look huge. It's an ungainly looking mech. How does it turn? Does it have torso twisting because of this? Apparently it would, within the rules, but the actual design of it just doesn't translate to anything like that. It's such a bizarre mishmash of oddly proportioned parts. How do the feet work when it looks like the jump jet assemblies are just stuck to the back of a flat plate on the foot there that you can see on the right leg? The whole thing is just... it's just hideous. The Yeoman was another bad design, but the Jinggau I think might be worse in some respects. A total redesign of this would be very welcome. I'm just saying. If Catalyst could get around to these 3060 designs, it would really help, because there are some good mechs in here build-wise, but the art does them zero favours. I can't even imagine what trying to make a miniature of this thing would be like from a design perspective, and I know they exist. It's just the idea of it being presented with this artwork and trying to translate that kind of proportion to a miniature. The thing would be so heavy and lopsided. This thing probably cost you more to make in the lead than it did than it does to buy the fucking book. It's ridiculous. The thing is, it's just bad as far as design goes, and it's such a shame because I really like the idea of this mech just being a thing that gets in close and just does as much damage. Bearing in mind the rather unusual decision to give the arms such little armor protection, 17 points, and all of your weapons are located in the arms, which means this is a vehicle that if the right arm gets hit pretty bad, it's gonna knock out the Gauss rifle, no doubt about it. And considering Gauss rifles explode when they get damaged, that's a bad one. That's a bad thing. Your ammo doesn't go up because that's just lumps of metal, but the actual assembly, all the electronics and stuff, that shit go boom. That causes a lot of damage to you. Bearing in mind that also the left arm having all those weapons means that at certain angles that it gets attacked at, if the right arm is destroyed, it means that the mech is pretty much combat ineffective on one side. And as soon as you know that, you can just keep rotating around it and basically keeping out of a majority of its firepower in a single one-on-one fight, I suppose. I guess as a lance of these things, they can cover each other, but yeah, it's odd. Coupled with the fact that it has an XL engine, which means if the side torso gets penned and the engine takes a hit, well, that means that thing gets destroyed pretty quickly as well. I don't know if this is actually a viable design. Maybe one or two in a lance that's backing up other vehicles or is being backed up by faster moving mechs, something along those lines would work. I mean, a Gauss rifle is still a dangerous weapon. It's got an incredible reach and can do a lot of damage, but 16 shots isn't a lot of ammo, and it also means that, again, with the limited amount of armor that it's got on those arms, the second you take a couple of hits to one of the arms, you're going to have to back off, because you don't want to lose more than 50% of your firepower in the following turn. It's difficult to say. It's got a good jump distance and stuff, which means it can do things like hop into a higher elevated position and fire its Gauss rifle. Maybe not on the turn that it does the jump, but the following turn it can set up. I don't know. I can see where it's definitely got the potential to do a absolute shed load of damage, but then I can also see all of the drawbacks that come with it. And yeah, it's a difficult one. Very Capellan, I suppose. Lots of compromise for being able to achieve a single goal, which is something that Capellan mechs generally tend to struggle with, compared to the Federated Sons, which tend to have more well-rounded designs. So the Capellans definitely have things that are more focused on a specific type of conflict. In this case, hoping for the best, planning for the worst. Don't know. It's an enigma wrapped in a Dornier cockpit. Anyway, that's the Jinggau. Thanks for listening as always, and yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Have a good one all. Bye.